we'll stick to global news. JPMorgan Chase CEO Dimon said that containing inflation remains a work in progress for the Federal Reserve. Now, he said that the Fed has lost a little bit of control of inflation, and Dimon himself said that he expects that interest rates could possibly remain higher for longer, as it may take the central bank a while to get its goal of 2% inflation. Now, his comments came one day after the Fed released the minutes from its January 30th to 1st of Feb meeting. Now, which showed, of course, the members that they remain resolved to fight persistent inflation.
Right. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said the United States would resume economic talks with China at an appropriate time. Beijing continues to sell its vast stock of treasuries as Washington warns against possible sanctions violation in relation to Russia. Yellen said there are many areas where the US and China need to work together to address global challenges, including food security, debt, and climate change.
And Yellen also made a strong pitch for increasing financial support to Ukraine to help its battle the year-old Russian invasion. Yellen was speaking in Bengaluru at a G20 meeting. She also said that US is looking to strengthen sanctions on Russia.
In the coming months, we expect to provide around $10 billion in additional economic support for Ukraine. Since the early days of the war, we've partnered with a multilateral coalition of over 30 countries to impose severe economic costs on Russia for its brutal assault. Our twin goals are to degrade Russia's military-industrial complex and reduce the revenues that it can use to fund its war. President Biden has said, "We will stand with Ukraine in its fight for as long as it takes." We commend our allies for stepping up their direct assistance, and we believe it's critical that the IMF move swiftly toward a fully financed program for Ukraine, as they've said that they will do.
Now we'll have Srinjoy Chaudhary join us with more details on this one. Listen in.
U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen believes that the sanctions on Russia have worked. And if they have worked so far, they should continue, which is why there could well be additional sanctions on Russia for attacking the Ukraine. And the war has gone on for exactly a year and a bit. Now, what is the result of the sanctions? The Americans believe that the Russian budget deficit is terrible and things will only get worse, which is why, yes, there will be further sanctions on Russia, and there should be an attempt by the IMF, by other international agencies, to help in the reconstruction of the Ukraine. Now, how that will happen and when that will happen will naturally have to be worked out. But at this point, the Americans are making it very clear that the IMF has to step up and has to help in the reconstruction of the Ukraine.
And we're moving on. FTX co-founder Sam Bankman-Fried was hit with 4 new criminal charges, including ones related to commodities fraud and making unlawful political contributions, in a super spreading indictment filed in New York federal court. The new charging document lays out in greater detail Bankman-Fried's allegedly fraud conduct related to his cryptocurrency exchange FTX. The 12-count indictment also provides new details of hundreds of political donations that he received.
Let's switch over to Netflix. Netflix has said it has cut prices of its subscription plans in some countries. The streaming giant looks to maintain subscriber growth amid stiff competition and strained consumer spending. When the company's stock, though, nearly fell 5%, underperforming the broader market and on course for its worst day in more than 2 months. The past year has seen intense competition in the streaming industry as a pandemic driver boom fades.
And the Biden administration has nominated former MasterCard CEO Ajay Banga to be the next president of the World Bank. The nomination will kickstart a confirmation process. Before that could take weeks before a final decision by the World Bank's board. Remember, the World Bank president is almost always an American citizen nominated by the United States. Biden said in a statement that Ajay Banga is uniquely equipped to lead the World Bank at its critical moment in history. Biden also added that Banga has spent more than 3 decades building and managing successful global companies that create jobs and bring investment to developing economies and guiding organizations through periods of fundamental change.